Hi, so I'm going to talk about text summarization and topic modeling in this lecture. So we have a lot of information overload nowadays, and text summarization is needed because the presence of such excess data or information that leads to us to having difficulties processing this amount of information and make well-informed decisions. So the overload happens when we have the huge amount of information as input to the system. The system can be our brain or it can be the machine as well, and the system start to exceed the processing capability. Us as a human particularly have limited cognitive process capabilities, and so we are also wired in a way that we can't spend a long time reading a single piece of information or data, and our mind actually would wander around every now and then. So when we get loaded with information, we can't really absorb that all of it and make good decisions. So therefore, the goal of summarization and information extraction is actually get an idea of the key important topics and or themes and summary for huge amount of information to summarize them into a few lines or pick out the keywords, the top keywords, so we can better understand and quickly interpret and make decisions. So this large amount of text data is actually unlabeled. So that means we cannot apply supervised learning approaches because machine learning methods for supervised learning actually based upon historical label data. But in real world, especially in text data, you're not going to have a convenient label attached to most of them, such as positive or negative or spam versus ham. So instead, we have to learn from the text itself. So basically, we want to find the commonality between documents, right? So it's up to us to try to discover the keywords, the summary, labels, the topics of this text to topic modeling, which where we discover the cluster of similar document grouped together. We also try to get the summary and top keywords from this text to help us understand better. So imagine that you have a whole corpus of text documents and you want to derive meaningful insights from them. So at first glance, it may seem difficult because you don't even know what to do with these documents, let alone how to apply NLP or other data science techniques to them. So it is more about pattern mining than predictive analytics. So like the previous week, module 2 and 3, where we talk about classification, 3 and 4. So a good way to start is to use unsupervised learning methods, and to be more specific, we just try to focus on the summarization and extraction of the information. So in general, there are several techniques. The key phrase extraction focuses on extracting key influential phrases from the documents. So this is a very simple form of topic modeling. Topic modeling is to extract various diverse concepts or topics presented in the documents. So they're also known as probabilistic statistical models because they use specific statistical techniques, including LDA, which stands for latent Dirichlet allocation, to discover connected, latent, or hidden semantic structures in text data, so that we can yield topics and concepts from it. So last is the document summarization, is to find a representative subset of the original text so that we can understand the core essence of this data, text data. So we analyze the semantic and conceptual aspects of it. So a collocation can be defined as a sequence or group of words that tend to occur frequently together. So this frequency tends to be more than what could be called a random or chance occurrence. So there are various ways to extract collocations, and one of the best ways to do it is use an n-gram grouping or a segmentation approach. So this is where we will construct n-gram out of text corpus, and then we count the frequency of each n-gram, and then we rank them based on their frequency of occurrence, so that we can get the most frequent n-gram collocation. So the NLTK collocation finders is what we use to find the collocations, and that includes various measures such as raw frequencies and PMI. PMI stands for point-wise mutual information. So I have the demo code to show later how to use them, and we can compare the results from these two techniques. So a slightly different approach to extract key phrase is the weighted tag based approach and weighted tag based phrase extraction. So we borrow concepts from a couple of research papers to use this method. We follow a two-step process. So first we extract all noun phrases chunks, and then we compute the TF-IDF weights for each chunk, and then we return the top weighted phrases. So next is the document summarization, which is the process of extracting the accents of a large text corpus so that it retains the core essence or meaning of the text corpus. So the idea of the text document summarization is a little bit different from the key phrase extraction. It's also different from topic modeling. So in this case, the end result is still in the form of some kind of document, but with fewer sentences, of course, based on the length we might want the summary to be. So this is similar to an abstract or executive summary in a research paper or a report. So the main objective of automated document summarization is that we can perform this summarization without involving human input. So we just simply do this by running computer programs that are built and automated by mathematical and statistical models. So there are two broad approaches for document summarization. So the first one is extraction-based technique. So in extraction-based technique, we use the mathematical and statistical concepts like SVD, which stands for singular value decomposition, to extract some key subsets of the content from the original document. So the subset of the content contains the core information, and it can act as the focal point of the entire document. So this content can be words, phrases, or even sentences. So the end result from the extraction-based techniques is a shorter executive summary of a couple of lines extracted from the original document. So note that here, no new content is generated in this technique. So the name is extraction-based. That's why. The extraction-based technique include LSA and text rank, which I'll explain more details later in the code demo. And then the next approach are abstraction-based techniques. So this type of techniques are more complex and sophisticated because they leverage the language semantics to create representations and use natural language generation techniques, where the machine use the knowledge bases and semantic representation to generate text on its own. And so it creates summaries just like a human would write them. So the extraction-based document summarization is a lot harder as the process is than the extraction-based. But thanks to deep learning, right? So we can implement these techniques easily, but they do need a lot of data and they do need a lot of computing resources. So next is topic modeling. While key phrases point out the key pivotal points from a text corpus, this is a very simple technique and often does not accurately describe the various themes or concepts in a corpus, especially when we have different distinguishing themes or concepts in the corpus. So topic models, also called topic discovery or topic extraction, have been designed particular for this purpose. So it can extract various distinguishing concepts or topics from a large corpus that has different types of documents, and each document talks about one or more concepts. So it does this by extracting the features from the document terms, and then use mathematical structures and frameworks such as the matrix factorization and SVD to generate clusters or groups of terms that are distinguishable from each other. So these clusters of words form topics and concepts. These topics and concepts can be used to interpret the main theme of a text corpus, and then it can make semantic connections among words that happen to co-occur frequently in different documents. So the topic modeling provides methods for automatically organizing, understanding, searching, and summarizing large electronic archives. So it can help with many, it has many tasks. It can help with discovering the hidden themes in document collection. You can classify documents into discovery themes. You can use the classification to organize and dimensionality reduction, and it can be used for embedding in a more complex model. So the first two methods of the topic models are LSI and LDA. These two are more pretty popular and has been there for many years. The last technique, NMF or non-negative matrix factorization, is more recent but also extremely effective, especially for short text like tweets. So you can use either GenSim or scikit-learn in Python for implementing these topic modeling methodologies. So I will demonstrate how to perform topic modeling with these three methods. And then for demonstration, I'll focus on the most popular framework, scikit-learn. If you're scheduled to present a case study next week, you can consider GenSim, and especially how to find the optimal number of topics using Perplexity and other performance metrics. So the how do we evaluate the topic modeling? So as mentioned, GenSim has the can output the metrics like perplexity and topic coherence score. So you can use those. So what are those metrics? Topic coherence is a complex metrics and topic on its own. It can be used to measure the quality of topic model to some extent. So typically a set of statements is set to be coherent if they support each other. Topic models are unsupervised learning, right? We mentioned that. They're trained on unstructured text data. So this makes it difficult to measure the effectiveness of the unsupervised learning model or the quality of its outputs. So it's a very important idea here that it's actually very difficult to evaluate an unsupervised learning model's effectiveness because we didn't actually know the correct topic or the right answer to begin with. All we know is that documents cluster together. The documents that cluster together share some sort of similar topic ideas. So it's up to the human user to identify what these topics actually represent. So again, with these unsupervised learning algorithms, they're not really a good way to evaluate how well they did because we never really had a right answer to begin with. We just attempt to discover the cluster of similar documents grouped together, hopefully by some sort of topic. So LDA is created by a German mathematician in the 1800s. So it stands for the latent Dirichlet allocation. So it's a generative probabilistic model for discovering abstract topics. And one of the most popular topic modeling methods use the Dirichlet distribution. Is one of the most popular topic modeling methods, and it's first published as a to be used for topic discovery in a journal here. So this is a visualization of how LDA works. We're going to get a high-level overview from this graphic. And so we have a, and by the way, this is from the Wikipedia of LDA. You can all read more about it. So basically, the boxes are kind of plates representing replicates. So replicates are basically repeating entities. The outer plate represents the documents, and the inner plates represent the repeating word position in a given document, each position associated with a choice of a topic. And so you have a collective of topics for the collection of documents. And you can read the annotation here, which of the components, which shows each of the components what they mean. So LDA has is based upon two main assumptions. So the first one is that documents with similar topics use similar group of words. We assume that. And that's pretty reasonable assumption, right? Because this basically is saying that if you have various documents covering a similar topic, like a bunch of documents covering the topic of business or economy, then they should end up using similar words like money, price, market, stocks, etc. So the other assumption we are going to make is that the latent topics can then be found by searching for groups of words that frequently occur together in the documents across the corpus. So to further explain LDA as a probability-based model, we have two figures in here. So on the figure 1 to the left, we can see that document 1, which is basically a Yelp customer review, has the highest probability of belonging to topic food here. At that point, we didn't know it was food. It was just topic 1. So we're going to say that it has the highest probability belonging to the topic 1 here. So we are not saying definitely that document 1 belongs to any particular topic or document to belong to any particular topic. Instead, we are modeling them as having a probability distribution over a variety of topics. So we have this discrete probability distribution across the topic for each document. So in the figure 2 here to the right, we are looking at the topics themselves. So they're simply going to be modeled as probability distribution over words, right? So for example, we can define topic 1 as different probability belong to each of these words as belong to a topic. So we can see that here it has a low probability of the word waiter to belong to topic 1. And then we can see that the words such as food, pizza, chicken, or even delicious has a high probability of belonging to topic 1. So then here is where we try to understand what this topic is actually representative of. So if we get this sort of probability distribution of all across all the vocabularies of all the words in corpus, we could end up doing is ask for maybe the top 10 first probability words for topic 1, and then we try to realize what actually the actual underlying topic was. So in this case, we could make an educated guess that topic 1 happens to do with food, and we would say that topic 1 is about food. So so each document is just a collection of words, or what we say a bag of words, or BOW. So the order of the words and the grammatical role of the words like subject, object, verbs are not really considered in the model of BOW. So basically, this is a feature extraction from text. So what can you use for this step? And right now, like we can use the count vectorizer, which converts a collection of the text document to a matrix of token counts. So previously we talked about how we pre-process text documents using that before applying the classifier to predict the label, whether it's spam or ham. So stop words like is, are, of, a, the, but, those stop words don't really carry any information about the topics, but they also occur a lot of times in most of the documents. So we can eliminate them from the documents as a pre-processing step, to remove the stop words. So in fact, we can eliminate words that occur in at least 80% to 90% of the document without losing any information. So for example, if our corpus contains only medical documents, words like human, body, health, etc. may be present in most of the documents and therefore can be removed also as stop words, as they don't add any specific information which could make the document stand out. So we know beforehand how many topics we want, so we say K is pre-decided by us. So finding the optimum number of K, or number of topics in the topic model, is tough. So given that it's like a model hyperparameter that you always have to set before training the model, we can use an iterative approach and build several models with different numbers of topics, and then we select the one that has the highest coherence score. So to implement the method, we will build functions, right? So the human choose number of topics K based on what we learn from our experience or what we expect. So for example, the Yelp data set, we hope to find K equals 5 underlying topics for the Yelp reviews, such as including food, service, location, price, and ambience. Then we assign every word in a random topic to begin with, right? Any one of these 5. Then we technically not done yet, of course, because this initial random topics won't really make sense. So then it's time to iterate over this and see how we can figure out how to fix this sort of assignment. So we're going to iterate over every word in every document to improve these topics. And what we're going to do is that for every word in every document and for every topic, we're going to calculate the following. So we're going to calculate the proportions of the words in document D that actually assigned to topic T. And then we're going to calculate the proportion of assignment to topic T over all documents that come from this particular word W. And then we're going to reassign the W to a new topic where we choose topic T with the probability of topic T given the documents, the times probability of word W given topic T. So essentially, this probability of the topics T generated the word W is what we want. And after repeating the step and a large number of times, then we eventually reach a rough kind of steady state where we say the model has converged and we will have the assignment to the topics that we can accept. So these words and topics don't start changing that often, right, at the convergence, and they become pretty steady. So at the end, what we have is each document being assigned to a topic. And then what we can do is then search for the word that have the highest probability of being assigned to a topic. Then we end up with the output such as this will say, after running all the documents and perform LDA, you pass in one particular document a report back LDA and what the topic is. So we know that each topic by looking in at the topic, the top X words or words with scores above the threshold. So for example, a document is assigned to a topic number 4, And then we actually don't know yet what the topic number 4 means. So what we can ask LDA is that what are the most common words in topic number 4, and what words have the highest probability of showing up in the topic number 4. So for example, if x equal to 10, then we sort out all the words in topic 1 based on their scores and take the top 10 words to represent the topic. Alternatively, all the words in the topic having a score above the threshold can be sorted as is representative in order of the scores, right? So then you may get the resulting words like pizza, chicken, if the topic is about food. And then give this list of high probability word for the particular topic. It's up to us, the human, to interpret what topic this is. And for this, a reasonable interpretation will be like, for a particular document assigned to the topic 4 might have something to do with food, right? And now we will say, okay, I think topic 4 is food. That's how it works. So it's important to distinguish LDA from a simple, there's also a Dirichlet multinomial clustering model. But they're different because the classical clustering model would involve a two-level model, which Dirichlet is sampled once for a corpus, and the multinomial clustering variable is selected once for each document in the corpus, and the set of words is selected for the document conditional on the cluster variable. So as with many clustering models, this kind of model restricts the document to be associated with a single topic. So it's exclusive. So LDA, on the other hand, involves 3 levels. Documents are probability distribution over latent topics, and topics are probability distribution over words. And we reassign the words W to a new topic T with the product of the 2 probabilities. So the topic node is sampled repeatedly within the document in LDA. So under the LDA, documents can be associated with multiple topics. So the next technique is called the NMF, non-negative matrix factorization. So remember we talked about dimensionality reduction, or dimension reduction is the transformation of data from high dimensional space into low dimensional space, which retains some meaningful properties of the original data, ideally close to its intrinsic dimension. So let's say in the simple words, dimensionality reduction refers to how we reduce the number of input variables in the data set. So feature selection is different from dimensionality reduction in that feature selection simply selects and excludes given features without changing them, right? And versus dimensionality reduction transforms features into lower dimension, it actually changes it. So feature selection can be removing features with missing values, low variance, or highly correlated features, and or use filter methods or embedded methods. And then dimensionality reduction, one popular technique is PCA, principal component analysis, that projects the data into lower dimensional space by making new synthetic features from linear combination of the original ones. And then we can discuss the less important ones. So feature selection is a subset of the original one, and so the difference is the feature selection is a subset of the original set of features, and the dimensionality reduction doesn't have to. It can be a new set of features created. The NMF is related to the idea of the dimensionality reduction. So first we create a non-negative data metric A that is n times m. We use TF-IDF, where n are rows of the A, and that is the features, and then M are columns of A, that is the objects. So then we can find k-dimensional approximation of W and H in terms of non-negative factors. W and H W is the basis vectors, n times k, and H is the coefficient matrix, which is product of k times m. So similar to LDA, you get to choose the number of dimensions k for the NMF. So next we're going to approximate each object in the column A by a linear combination of k reduced dimension in W. So each base vector is a reduced dimension, and is a cluster, and objects in the cluster are encoded by H. So we then iterate and update and optimize W and H until convergence to maximize the expectation. So here's a visual of further explanation of how NMF works. So we end up discovering the basis factors. Those are the topics of clusters in the data. And then we have a coefficient matrix on the right which is the membership weights for documents relative to each topic. So for example, topic 3, education, on the base vectors is connected to vector school, right? And vector 6 and 7 could be different words related to education. And then the coefficient matrix, we can see that the document 3 and 4 are more about education, and 8 and 9 as well. And other documents are more related to other topics. So the steps of NMF implementation, including pre-processing and then apply NMF. So keep in mind we use TF-IDF vectorizer for NMF instead of count vectorizer, and then we apply NMF to TDAM term document matrix A and predetermine K. K means the number of topics we want. So then we display the top most common words for each of the topics categories, similar to LDA, and then we add a new column to the original data frame to contain that information of the topic for each document, right? So that we keep a record of the topics we figure out. So in the end, how do we choose among these different techniques? Some research show that topic given by NMF provides better understanding than topics given by LDA. But it's also it also works better for shorter text like tweets, but not necessarily for longer text. It also tends to be faster NMF. And versus LDA will be slower, but at the same time, it may be better for longer texts, such as like product reviews, service reviews, etc. LSI and PLSA are comparatively older model, so which is why in this module we focus on LDA and NMF. So in my demo code, the third demo code for topic modeling, so I demonstrate LDA and NMF. That's it.